So, पिछली बार we were looking at this. Atma vinishkalo heku dehu bahu bhiravritah tayoraikyam prapash. So now there's going to be a string of verses. It will, the second line will look the same only, where Shankaracharya is bringing out the difference between Atma and Anatma. Okay, what is Atma like? What is Deha like? इति उन्होंने बोला. For example, इस verse में उन्होंने बताया है कि आत्मा has got no parts. It is one whole, partless whole. Very enjoyable thing to know this, you know. आत्मा जो है उसमें कोई parts नहीं है. Absolutely partless whole. This is page 171. That verse number 17. Huh? It is partless whole, and deha, the body, is made of many parts. So this is the difference he's bringing out. Atma, no parts. Body, full of parts. Yeah. Okay. So Swami Viditatmananji here wanted to bring out that body and self, that means Atma, don't have a connection. Meaning, just let's look at it this way. Atma is Satya, body is Mithya. Okay, that's all. Atma is Satya, body is Mithya. Iti. So, Swamiji points out in the next page that look at that, body doesn't have any attributes at all. Zero attributes. So, if body has no, not body, self has no attributes at all. If self has no attributes, you cannot make out the difference between, supposing I say I am one self, and Bhatia uncle is one self, and Anita is one self. There is no difference because no attributes. Usually, attributes are differentiating one thing from another thing. But if something has got no attributes at all, nothing, no attributes, it is one whole. Iti. All that is okay. Then, yeah, this is all very beautiful. He has pointed. It's like space and pot. So I am all pervading consciousness without location. I have no edge, no boundary. Whereas the body is very much located. It is there in space, in time. It is very this thing. Okay. So then he brought out that which I think we spent time on last time. That space and pot. That is the pot in space, or right? Is there space in the pot, or is the pot in the space? In the same way, is the consciousness in the body, or is body in consciousness? Actually, it is both. But, yeah, if you look at it, because there is adhyasa, you see, adhyasa meaning one thing is superimposed upon another. Wherever the body is, there consciousness is there. Because body is mithya and consciousness is satya. At the same time, there are two different orders of reality, completely two different orders of reality. And therefore, the consciousness is the adhishtanam, not only of one body, of all the bodies. Therefore, all the bodies are in consciousness. Yeah. What other example can I give you? Wave and water, will wave and water fit with this thing? Because wherever wave is there, water is there, right? But water is there in all the waves. So water in wave, there is water, and yet wave is in water. Think of it. Though here, सोच लो, wave and water. जहां भी वेव है उधर पानी तो है ही है, ठीक है?
But water can be without waves.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. But consciousness can be without body. Yeah, no, here we are looking only at the example of
yes,
same thing, you know, consciousness is in the body and yet is body in consciousness. And I said both can be true. but from different standpoints. Both are true. Eh? Uncle Ji, Uncle Ji has to. How can it be true? That's why Swamiji says Maya makes the impossible possible. Eh? No, because they are two different orders of reality. Mm, okay. Then in the next verse, he says, Atma niyamakaha cha deho bahyo niyamyakaha. So, okay, Atma is the ruler. It is consciousness. Therefore, as consciousness, it is the ruler, whereas the body is the ruled. Body is that which is ruled by, because without the presence of Atma, body cannot be there, cannot do anything, cannot even be enlivened. Eh? Iti. So body is the ruled, whereas Atma is the ruler. Iti. Hmm? So Shankaracharya is crying. He says, look at that, they are so completely different. And still people take them to be the same. How can it be? You know, इतना अज्ञान कि दोनों को एक मान रहे, जब ये लोग दोनों completely different है, इति करके he is very upset. Then Swamiji of course gives us this, that why is this happening, that we are taking them to be the same, because of adhyasa, because of mutual identification. Iti. And then for mutual identification, he gave us the example of iron ball. No, the ball of iron which is put in fire, and how fire and iron are completely different, and yet we call it, when the iron becomes hot, it takes the color of the, actually iron is black in color and it is cold to touch, but when the iron is put in the fire, what happens to the iron? We call it fireball, because the iron now gets the color and heat of the fire, and we are calling it as a fireball, even though they are completely different. Eh? So the iron and the fire are taken to be the same. This is on page 177. I remember
Yes.
Anita had read this. Eh?
Yes, yes. It's
Yeah.
there.
So in
Hmm.
the same way, like the fire completely pervades the iron and seems to give its qualities to the iron, in the same way consciousness pervades the body. Yeah. And consciousness is like fire and the body is like the iron. So consciousness is infused in the whole body, and it looks to us that the body is conscious, iti. But no, actually they are completely different. So Swamiji says here, the body is lifeless and inert, paragraph 2 on 177, while consciousness is shining, self-revealing and formless. So inertness and consciousness are totally contradictory attributes. How can they be taken to be the same? Iti. Shankaracharya is mourning. Eh? And we are wondering, how does he see them as different? Eh? Shankaracharya is clearly seeing the difference. And we are clearly seeing the identity. Eh?
Tadatamya.
Tadatmya. Eh? Yeah, these two are confused as one due to tadatmya, identification. Okay. So this verse shows the totally contradictory characteristics of the niyamaka and the niyamya, and the inside and outside. Iti. And then we come to this verse 19. Atma jnanamaya punyaha
आत्मा ज्ञानमय
Namaya
पुण्यः
punyaha.
deho mamsamayo ashuchihi
देहो
Deho
मांसमयो
mansamayo
शुचिः
ashuchihi.
tayor aikyam prapashyanti
तयोरेक्यं
Deorekyam
प्रपश्यन्ति
prapashyanti.
kimajnanamatah param.
किमज्ञानं
Kimagyanam
मतः परम्
param.
Again he is shocked that it is completely different. Hai. Look at this. Atma is nothing but jnanamaya. It is of the nature of consciousness. It is jnanamaya. And it is very holy. It is very sacred. you know, because you remember in Mandukya Upanishad, the Atma is called as Shivam, Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam. Shivam, auspicious, you know. It is a sacred fullness, a sacred wholeness, iti. So that which is so sacred, which is and that is which is holy. And what about the Deha? This is a peculiar way that Shastra looks at it. Deha mamsamayaha. It is nothing but flesh. And what is it? Ashuchihi, impure. Iti. This Ashuchihi. Tayor aikyam prapashyanti kimajnanam atapparam. How can one take them to be the same? Iti. They're completely contradictory, you know. It's completely contradictory. And to take them as one, that means ignorance alone is there. Iti. Hmm? So here I will show you all Paramathananji's notes also very nice. Atma is of the nature of jnana, knowledge or consciousness. It is punya, pure, holy, sacred, holiest of the holy. Iti. Vishnu Sahasranam calls it pavitranam pavitram yo mangalanam cha mangalam. आज मुझे लिखना पड़ेगा वो holier than the holy, the most auspicious among the auspicious. Then Swamiji says, if you trace holiness or purity back to its source, it will lead to Atma, the self. It is because of Atma that other things appear to be pure. You see, Atma is changeless. And Atma is one homogeneous whole. There is no other thing in it. When do we call something impure? When something gets mixed with something, then we call it as impure, no? थोड़ा सा डर्ट उसमें आ गया, कोई अच्छी तेल है, तेल के साथ एक ड्रॉप पानी भी आ गया, तो हम उसको इम्प्योर बोल देंगे. बट आत्मा इज जस्ट वन, एकम एव अद्वितीयम. देयर इज नो वे देयर आर टू थिंग्स इन इट. इति. So it is very, very holy. It is changeless. It doesn't change ever. Iti. It is pure, Shuddha, always Shuddha. Okay. For example, Swamiji says, the Ganges is holy and has the capacity, they say, to remove our papa. The source of this holiness of the Ganga is Atma, because Atma is everywhere. Atma being the Adhishtanam is everywhere. The body, on the other hand, is Mamsamayaha. It is all flesh, which means it is Ashuchi, impure. Iti. This is from the Hindu standpoint, of course. Every culture has its own idea of what is pure and impure. Let's look at what Swami, this one has to say. I hope I'm picking up the right file. नहीं, इसी को pick up करते हैं. चलो. Okay. I don't know if this may be too small for you to read.
No, it's okay.
You can read it? I can make it a little bigger. Okay. Atma Jnanamayaha, which means Atma is the consciousness principle and body is the Jada principle, inert principle. Mamsa is made of matter and hence it is Jada Swarupa. It is nothing but inert. How can both be identical? This is verse 19, right? Yeah. Another distinction is Atma is Punya and Deha is Ashuddha, Ashuchi. The consciousness is pure. And look at this, how beautifully he writes. It does not decay or stink. You don't have to bathe consciousness regularly. And it does not become impure, as impurity is because of decaying matter. So that's what we mean, you know. The body is made of matter, and if consciousness was not present in it, like supposing the subtle body leaves, it will just decay and become impure. Then he will give another beautiful other thing. Consciousness in the body does not have any foul smell coming from consciousness. Atma is Shuddha and Anatma is Ashuddha. How can pure and impure be treated as identical? If one sees both as identical, what greater ignorance can there be? An ordinary person sees oneness between Atma and Anatma due to ignorance. Okay? When Adi Shankaracharya says people see their Aikya, no one says Atma and Anatma has Aikya. Everybody says, I am a human being, Atma, and Anatma having Aikya is a statement of mixture of two diagonally opposite things. That's why Shankaracharya is upset. Eh? Table does not say I am a table. It is very important, this part. Hall does not say I am hall. I always refers to a conscious being because the word I is not used by an inert being. The humanness is the nature of the physical body. The human being is differentiated by animals only in terms of physical property. When you say I am a human being, we have mixed up consciousness and the body. You should say, I am consciousness and the body is jada. That kind of differentiation needs to take place in our mind. I, what is here as I, is consciousness, and what is here, body, is jada, inert. Okay? Human body is replaced by another body on death. The body is changed to another human, animal, or anything for that matter. The wrong identification is due to adhyasa. What he means by human body is replaced by another body on death, I don't really know. Maybe we take on another birth. Eh? Okay, okay. So let's stop there and we will see what Swamiji has to say. So he had some nice points, which he pointed out. Like, consciousness, you don't have to bathe it. Eh? And smell comes from the human body when it decays. Even otherwise, we have to bathe it because every aperture here is going to give out something which is garbage. Iti. Now let's look at what Swamiji goes on it really, hard, harshly on the body. Eh? Uncle, you'll read the body is impure. I'm going to put on my fan.
The body is impure. When you look at the body, what is it ultimately? There is no consciousness at all, no sentiency. It is nothing but a lump of flesh, inert and impure. It is impure not just when it is dead, but all the time. We say that because whatever comes out from any aperture of the body is impure, and we do not want anything to do with it. What is inside is nothing but garbage or sewage. So the body is essentially a garbage and can
A
therefore
garbage can, eh?
garbage can and therefore impure.
Okay, it's a
The,
very harsh. Okay, huh.
the body is totally inert and lifeless, whereas the self is alive, conscious, holy. Still, we lump them together and say, I am the body. That which is holier than the holy says, I am unholy. That which is pure than the pure says, I am impure. Consciousness says, I am lump of flesh, which is inert. These attributes cannot coexist in one locus, but we make it a miracle and therefore join them anywhere. We put them in one locus and declare that I am body. Seeing oneness between these two is ignorance.
In fact, we can even now, if we take a distance, and we look at ourselves as consciousness, then we can say that we have consented to have an experience of limitation. We are consciousness, and some of these, sometimes some teachers will teach like this, that when you are born, if you look at a small child, the small child looks like it is very happy child, and for a small child, it does not make any differentiation of this is me and that is somebody else. The differentiation of I am this body and that is that body and everything else is different from me. A small child, just born of maybe 6 months, 8 months old, doesn't have that kind of thinking. It is just one consciousness, and lot of things are happening in consciousness. Consciousness is there, okay, And in consciousness, perception of many different things are taking place. Sometimes thought is coming, sometimes sensation is happening, sometimes something is being seen, something is being heard, something is being smelt, iti, sounds are coming. So all this is happening in consciousness. It's just one unified experience. There's no separating it or compartmentalizing it as this much is me and that is something else. It's just one unified experience going on over there. Iti. Later on, as that baby is growing older, it gets conditioned by the parents. It gets conditioned by the things around it to think now that, oh, I am this and that one is separate. Iti. Meaning, in some way, we can say that consciousness has itself, taken on this experience of limitation. That okay, chalo, let me have an experience of limitation. And then begins to identify with this body, and now forgets completely that actually I am consciousness, one whole consciousness, in whom all this is taking place, in whose presence all this is taking place. All that is completely forgotten. And then I say, I am this body. Iti, and everything else is separate from me. Iti, consciousness itself takes on that experience of limitation. Iti, and says, I am the body. I am impure. Like Swamiji says, what is holiest of holy is now saying, I am unholy. Or I am impure. Iti. It's a way of looking at it. Then in the next verse, we have Atma Prakashakas, Atma Prakashakas Swachha,
Atma Prakashaka Swacha
Dehastamasa Uchyate,
Dehastamas Uchyate
Tayoraikyam Prapashyanti,
Tayorekyam Prapashyanti
Kimagnaman Kimagnanamatah Param.
Kim Jnanam Atah Param.
So here it is says Atma Prakashakaha. It is the illuminator. Iti. And what is it? It is Swachha. It is pure. The idea of purity is brought in here again. There it was called holy. It's called pure. Dehaha Tamasaha. And what about the Deha? The body is inert. It is not an illuminator. It is that which is illumined and therefore it is inert. Uchyate. Tayoraikyam, this oneness between them, people are seeing, but how can it be? It can only be because of Agniyanam. The self is of the nature of light or illumination and is pure, whereas the body is said to be dark or inert. Some see the oneness of these two. What can be ignorance other than this?
Yes.
And Anita, you will read.
Yeah. The self illuminates by its nature. Atma is a Prakashaka, illuminator, meaning that Atma is illumination itself. Illumination is the nature of the illuminator. So we can say Atma is of the nature of illumination. The Deha, body, is illumined. The illuminator is always different from the illumined. So they cannot coexist in a single locus. There must be some separation between the two. Atma is Swachha, ever pure, whereas the body is Tamasa, dark, impure, inert. Tayorakyam Prapashyanti, and yet people still see them as one. Kima Jnanam Atah Param. What else can be what can be ignorance but this? This ignorance is revealed by the
Vipariyaya.
vipraya, false notion or delusion that exists in our life. We live our life on the basis of this delusion. How can there ever be harmony and happiness in this life when the very basis is false.
That's a bit harsh. Okay. Okay. Now let's look at what Swami Paramathananji says. Atma prakashaha or prakashakaha. You know. So Atma is the illuminator or the knower principle or the experiencer principle. Very beautiful. The conscious entity, but the body is the illumined and experienced, and it is non luminous. Now, why are we calling it Jada? Because it doesn't light itself, it requires the presence of consciousness for us to know its presence. Iti. The illuminator is always luminous and shining, whereas the illumined is non luminous. No, luminous means not lighted up. Okay? It's not non-luminous. This, the what is non-luminous is illumined because this is illumined because it is non-luminous. Very nice. It is dark, Therefore, it requires light for it to be seen. Because it is dark, it can be lighted up. Iti. This is illumined because it is non-luminous. A tube light will not illumine another tube light because both are self-luminous and self-shining. And therefore, they don't have illuminator-illumined relationship. For illumined-illuminator relationship, one should be luminous and another must be non-luminous. Okay? Because of the Atma, body shines and body is not luminous. Because of the Atma, body shines. And body, is it luminous or not luminous? It is not luminous. And body, of course, is enlivened by Atma. So here it is said, no, it is tamasa. Deha tamasa uchyate. It was said in the verse. So tamas means jada rupa. Atma swachha means it is bright because it should be, it is bright like prakashaka. So he's taken it slightly different from Swami B, where Swami has called swachha as pure. Right? Let me see if I'm right. Yeah, swachha Swamiji is called as, whereas here, our Paramathananji is calling it as bright. Yeah, swachha meaning bright. Okay. Because the other word was used as prakasha, therefore swachha is taken as bright. The body is not an illumining entity. If you mix up the illuminator and the illumined, it is not correct. And the ordinary people see the oneness of two opposite things. So what greater ignorance is possible other than mixing up? Okay? So I was thinking we can do something now where we will do it together. Okay? Where did that go? Whiteboard. Okay. So we will go back to verse number 17, was it? Yeah. Okay. I want to increase the size. Every time I forget how to increase the size. See, इतना छोटा है, इधर साइज कहाँ जाता है? So that you can see. Okay. Oops, no. So here we will write Atma, okay, and we will give lots of space and we'll write Anatma. कैसे करें अभी इसको? इधर करना पड़ेगा. आई, oh my god. Oh no. Okay, I have to clear the drawing. Clear page. Okay. Now I'll try again. Atma. It should allow, no, me to go this way. गंदी बात है. ठीक है, इसको लिखेंगे हाथ से. That's easier, eh? Okay. What I wanted to do is, up till now, what they've done, no? Atma, Anatma. Okay. So in the first verse, what did he say about Atma? 17, verse 17. He said it is partless, right? I could have done this in another way. Okay. Yeah, I can do it in a better way. Wait. We'll do this in a better way. Okay. Later, you'll have to just wait for 2 minutes. Blank presentation. Okay. Come to the new slide. Just give me 2 minutes, okay? Number of columns will keep only 2. And the number of rows are okay. Okay, now I'm going to share with you. This is much easier, no? Share. Okay. Okay, now we'll do here. So now this will be Atma. Atma. And this is Anatma. So in the first, this thing in verse number 17, what is he saying? Atma is partless.
Partless, yeah.
And Anatma is having parts. Anything else he says?
No
Deha
connection.
bahuvidavritaha. Okay, that's okay. That's all we need now. Then in the next verse, he says, Atma is the ruler and Anatma is the ruled.
Yeah.
That is verse number 18. In verse number 19, he says, Atma is consciousness and it is holy. Oops, consciousness. And it is, can you see? It is too small?
No,
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Is holy. And what about Anatma? What is it?
Unconscious, jad.
Mamsamayom. It is flesh.
Holy, tamas, yes, tamas.
No, he's saying flesh. Mamsa ashuchihi. Okay, it is flesh. It is matter. I call it matter. Matter, and it is impure. That was verse number 19. Yeah. Now
Yes.
verse number 20. I just want to show you when we do it just like this, no, it becomes very clear. Eh? Verse number 20 says, Atma is the illuminator and this is the illumined. No?
Yeah.
And he's saying it's the illuminator and it is bright or it is pure. And this is the illumined and it is dark or inert. That's what we've done so far. Yeah. So as you can see, they're completely different, completely contradictory. Atma and Anatma are completely contradictory to each other. And still, because of ignorance, we take them to be the same. And with that adhyasa is there and wrong identification is there, and therefore we say that I am the body, iti. Okay, so I will stop the share. Okay, we came back here. Now Swamiji starts a long section. This verse number 21, he goes on for 10 pages, more than 10 pages. Oh my God. Ooh. So I was thinking Swamiji's version of it, we will now read the verse and then we'll see what Swami, our Paramatananji has to say, and Swami V's we will see next time. Yeah. So let's look at verse number 21. No, before that, we have to finish verse number 20. Creating the right samskara. Uncle, page 180. Creating the right samskara on page 180.
Somebody may look at these verses and ask, why does the author keep on repeating the same thing again and again? Actually, he is not saying the same thing. It is the same in the sense that ignorance results in these kinds of false notions. But different notions are pointed out here to emphasize the fact that there is falseness in our life. This is called adhyasa, as opposed to punarukti.
Punarukti, which means repetition.
Which means repeating the same thing over and over. Abhyasa is also repetition, but it is for the purpose of creating a samskara, correcting the mistake and making the knowledge firm. Sometimes the people repeat things because they have nothing else to say, like a politician who keeps saying the same thing over and over again. But here our repetition has something to contribute. Statements that repeat in order to contribute something are called abhyasa. Here the abhyasa is to emphasize a point. It is purely out of compassion that a teacher such as Sri Shankaracharya ji goes out of his way to keep on describing this in different terms. He wants to make sure that no doubt is left in our mind. We should also understand that the false knowledge is not confined to what is described here. This is just a sample. In fact, every notion that we have about ourselves is false. Through the teaching, we gain the capacity to analyze every notion and discover where the fallacy is so that we can give it up. The purpose of these many verses is to make us understand where the ignorance is from, and the examples are given so that we can extend the understanding to all the notions we have. This is how Vivek or discrimination takes place.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you all something. Just 1 second. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay. So I was going to ask you this. Do I have to do something to become whole, Purna?
No.
Very good.
We don't need anything to do.
Anita? Do I have to do something to become whole, to become Purna?
No, I'm already Purna.
Good girl. So do I have to know something to become Purna?
Yeah, no. Yes. But अज्ञान है ना, अज्ञान है, उस कारण हम अपने आप को अपूर्ण समझते हैं।
उसको निकालना है।
हाँ, उसको निकालना।
ठीक है, उसको निकालना है। ठीक है। Do I have to be somebody special? Do some, become special to be whole? You have to become something to be whole.
No, we don't have to do anything.
Very good. No, Vedanta, now you know Vedanta. Because it is so strong, no? The idea that we have to do something, we have to know something, we have to become something. Kuch alag, other than what we are, we have to become. It's so strong. So once we figure this out, that, oh my God, Vedanta is saying, I am Purna, I don't have to do anything. Then you know Vedanta. The I is Purna. Very, very wonderful. So just let's quickly read this. We still have some time. And verse number 21. Atma nityo hi sadrupaha
आत्मा
आत्मा
नित्यो
नित्यो
हि
हि
सद्रूपः
सद्रूपः
deho nityo ह्यसन्मयः.
देहो नित्यो है सन्मयः
Yeah. तयोरैक्यं प्रपश्यन्ते
तयोरेक्यं
ह्यसन्मयः.
प्रपश्यन्ति
He
Huh?
asanmayah, it is asat. So deho nityo, dehaha anityaha, he asanmayah, asatmayah. So the meaning is, you have to see the nunj over there. Tayoraikyam prapashyanti
तयोरेक्यं
तयोरेक्यं
प्रपश्यन्ति
प्रपश्यन्ति
kimajnanamatah param.
किम्
किम
अज्ञानं
ज्ञानं
मतः
मतः
परम्.
परम्
So here what he is saying is, let's look at that. He is saying that Atma, here is Nitya, and it is Sat. It is of the nature of existence only, Sadrupaha. Whereas Dehaha, Anatma, what is it? It is Anitya and it is Asat. This is what he is actually saying in the verse. Okay, so let's see. Atma means self. What is self? Nityaha. He said here, Nityaha, he. And Sadrupa, and it's the nature of Sat, existence. And existence never goes out of existence. No, existence is always there. It is Sat, iti. Never changes also. Whereas the body is Anityaha. Dehaha Anityaha. He, and it is of the nature of Asat, non-existence. How can we say body, hey, this body is existing? How is he saying non-existence? Tell me, you guys tell me.
Because it is only for a little time, for a few years.
It is a Namarupa.
It is Namrupa.
It is not a substance of its own.
Mm.
So in that sense, it is non-existence. It's not a substance. It's not a different substance. It is there. It is a Namarupa. It is Sat only in another form, having a form. An appearance actually. It's an appearance. Is there now gone an appearance of Sat, iti. That's all, iti. And of the nature of non-existent. And then this Shankaracharya is very sad. Some see the oneness of these two. What can be greater ignorance than that? Now let's see what our Paramathananji has to say. I have not read it, so I don't know what he has to say. Okay. Atma Nityaha. Atma is permanent because Atma is Sadrupa. It is the nature of consciousness and it is of the nature of existence, Satchit. Whereas body is Anitya. Body is perishable. We will not see our own dead body. And seeing other dead bodies, I know that my body will also fall one day. So the body has a dependent existence. Exactly. And therefore, body is Anitya. I know the body is impermanent. And how do I know I am permanent? After the fall of the body, I will not be there as an individual transacting with the world. If I don't have transactions, how do I know I will be there? For this, it is said, non-transaction does not prove non-existence. The end of transaction does not mean end of existence. One is existence with transaction, and other is existence without transaction. Very interesting. Huh? Paramathananji is pointing out to us that when the body is there, we are able to transact with the world, right? But when the body is not there, does it mean that we are not there? He says it does not mean the same thing at all. It only means that we are not transacting. That's all it means. Doesn't mean we are not existing. It only means we are not transacting. Yeah. Non-transactional existence is possible. Now he is giving an example. You know, butter is available in the milk. We know that butter is there in the milk, but right now it is not available for transaction as butter. The butter is taken only when we take the butter out of the milk. So butter in the milk has got a non-transactional existence as long as you have not taken it out of the milk. It exists, but it is not available for transaction. This is a really nice example. Eh?
Mm-hmm.
So also I will send you all this. Yeah. So also we find electricity in the waterfall and we get it only when it is tapped. Electricity is there, waterfall is there, electricity is potentially there in the waterfall. Eh? But it's only when we tap it that we will get it as electricity. So unmanifest existence is not available for transaction. When I go to deep sleep, I am not available for transaction. I exist in sleep, yet I don't transact with the world. I exist in unmanifest and non-transactional state. After death, I get life with a new body and my existence continues even after death. Hmm? And the fall of my body, I am ever existent in Vyakta or Avyakta form. Okay? Thus, I am Mukta. Even in Pralaya, I am there, but I don't transact. Hence, Atma is Nitya and Anatma is Anitya. Hmm. Okay. So that is the way Swami Paramathananji looks at it. And then we will see how Swami V looks at it because he looks at it for at least 10 to 20 pages. Eh? So we'll see. Yeah, you see, from page 182, okay, it's going on. Oh my God. Oh my God. Ooh, till 198.
16 pages.
16 pages. So I will sit and read the entire 16 pages and come back to you all. Hopefully next week. Yeah. Yeah, next week we should. We should be able to meet. Okay? So we will say Purnamadav now. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. By the end of the class, my voice is gone. Okay?
That is a
Take your medicine.
I will. It's just the phlegm is stuck there, in the throat. That's all.
And steam.
And steam, yeah. आज तो दोनों नहीं किया है, steam भी नहीं किया है.